So what do you do whenever you doubt? Or maybe there's things about the Christian faith that you're not sure of, and you're kind of trying to discern if they're really real. You want to figure it out. You want to know one way or another. I would say two things to that person. The first is this: be careful not to mistake spiritual apathy for doubt. I think so often what happens is like we say we doubt, or we're not sure if God is really there, if he's really active in our life, and yet we're like not reading the Bible, and we're not praying, and we're not going to church, and we're not being loving to people the way Christ calls us to, and then we wonder if God's really real or not. That's like saying, like, I don't know if my marriage is going to make it, but I'm not going to go to marriage counseling. I'm not going to read any books on how to have a good marriage. It's like you don't do any of the necessary things to find out or to actually solve the problem. And so I think a lot of times we think we're struggling with doubt when in reality, we're just really not seeking God, right? And the Bible says that those who seek are the ones who find. It doesn't just say anybody finds, right? But the second thing I would say is this: if you are genuinely like wanting to seek out God, and if you're genuinely in a season of your life where you love the Lord, but you're honestly struggling with certain kinds of doubts, what I would recommend is to touch the faith. I think the moments when we're unsure about things are the moments when we need to embrace the things that God has given us to experience Him. Usually in my experience, when people are reading the Bible with an open heart and an open mind, when people are like going to God in prayer and believing that God is listening to them and is with them, when people are walking with the church every single week and gathering to worship and for community and fellowship and the Lord's Supper, when people are being obedient in generosity and they're giving to those in need as Christ has commanded to us, when we're trying to love God and love people, when you're actually trying to practice the Christian faith, it's funny how you begin to see, man, like this is really legitimate. Like you begin to encounter God in your life because you're basically taking advantage and using the things that God is giving you to encounter Him and to see Him. The Christian life is something to be tasted. It's something to be experienced. It's not just something to be believed. The gospel, or the good news that we believe, is the beginning of our journey. But once we believe the gospel, the remainder of our life is to love God and to love people, and it's a very experiential kind of thing. And so for anyone that struggles with doubt, I would always say that make sure that you're actually seeking out God in a way that He wants to reveal Himself to you. But then secondly, if you really are doubting, you're just not sure, but you really want to come to that place where you know if God's there, I would always encourage you to practice the faith, even in the moments when you don't feel like it. Seek God out, go to the Bible, go to prayer, be obedient to the teachings of Jesus Christ. And I think it's in those places that God really shows up and confirms that He is not only with us, but He loves us.